welcome back to the Decode Podcast, Apex 2026. We are joined by a very good friend of ours, Mr. Bill Capen. He is a senior engineering technical specialist at Honeywell, specifically at the National Security Campus. He's doing cool stuff. Bill's just a great friend of ours. He's also been a very active part of the SMTA, having served 2 terms on the Global Board of Directors.
2 terms, and then chapters, you name it, I've been involved. He's president, treasurer, vice president, chief cook, bottle washer, whatever. They need
everything. We're glad to have you here, Bill. We're looking forward to interviewing you at SMTAI, but that didn't work out. So having you here in person feels especially sweet. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for the kind word.
So Bill's been going through what has to be kind of fun for him, standing up an additional SMT line. If I listen to anything you tell me, this line kind of doesn't have production functionality. It's purely for development.
It's for trying and developing new techniques for processing of electronic assemblies, literally. So we are going to try to take the box and kick the box to the curb.
So it seems fitting with this setting here at Apex, because I think so many of the people in these halls are discerning equipment choices, right? I need a new pick and place. Which one should I get? I need a new screen printer. Which one should I get? And without bringing in manufacturers' names, can you talk to us a little bit about that qualification process and maybe give our listeners some best practices that they can apply in their businesses?
Sure. So there's 2 mindsets when it comes to buying capital. Is it cheap, and can I get quality? And those are the 2 mindsets. And they don't work together, ever. Ever. They contradict each other in every way, shape, and form. So cheap is great if you're a small mom-and-pop shop who is trying to figure out how to make something down and dirty. That's great. But if you're trying to do something that is 100% quality, class 3, we'll say satellite worthy or anything like that, cheap doesn't work. Cheap is your enemy in every way, shape, and form, because you're going to have more problems trying to create boards than you are doing them by hand, literally. You're better off sometimes by hand if it's going to be that cheap. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. So the best way to think about buying a piece of equipment is, what do I need the machine for? Period. I don't care what you say or anything like that. What do I need it for? And again, everybody's like, I want to put this here. I want to buy a widget. That's great. But again, if you aren't telling me why you're buying it, then what does it matter? All right. So you can go and look at, just as an example, all of the different pick and place machines in this building right now. And guess what? They all do X, they all do Y, they all do Z. They all pick parts from a feeder. Boy, that narrows it down, doesn't it?
And they're all the best. Just ask them.
They'll tell you. They will gladly tell you. And, by the way, hidden fact of buying a pick and place machine, you got to buy feeders. Fun thing about that. The feeders sometimes are 3 times the price of, a machine. You know. So the best way to think about buying a machine is, okay, I can give it a grading scale. Can I do weird angles? Can I do data import? How easy, and this is the fun one, how easy can I have somebody program it? Because, if it's really complex and challenging, am I going to use that? No. I like simple. Simple is good. I believe in the KISS method. Keep it simple. And I am stupid. So I need it to be simple. So if it's very complex, why do I want it? So you give it a low score. But if it's easy, great. But if it also has other challenges, again, feeder capacity, picking from feeders. Can I do it from a small, because it never happened. We all know this. Everybody gets a perfect reel of 5,000 parts. Sure. No, wait a minute. They don't. Ever. I love the strip of 3 inches and you need at least 5 to put it in a feeder. Doesn't work. My math doesn't work. So it's weird things like that people have to evaluate when they're evaluating equipment. Not just, again, the price. I will tell you, I spoke with a machine vendor today. They wanted to know why I did not buy them last year. I got to sit in a room with these fine folks for 45 minutes and explain my reasoning for not buying their equipment. And they kept on coming back and trying to tell me, well, we would have given you a really good price. I said, price doesn't matter. What matters is quality. If I cannot have quality, I got a problem. I got a lot of problems.
Well, that was, I've only been in this industry for so long, right?
Yeah.
So I can tell you my why. I don't know the who to solve it. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
That's okay.
And sometimes it takes like trial and error, and then you kind of get that, well, that's why you go with this or this or this.
It's an expensive lesson, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's no way around it without having guidance.
Somebody's feeling a little guilty over here. I wasn't naming anything about anybody. But I will say you're not wrong.
I look at my initial purchases.
Yes.
And I say that's from a guy who had no clue what he's doing.
And you're not wrong. So every purchase you make is a long-term investment in a company, whether it's your company or whatever, right? So if you're going to have that long-term investment, what is it that you want? Again, what is your definition? What is the scope, the reason why you're doing what you're doing? And it gets back to, because I know Daniel and I have had some conversations about this when he's on travel on looking at machine. I would say make sure you're looking at odd characteristics of a machine. Again, can I program any of these? By the way, are there quirks? Do I have to rehome a machine all the time? Because that's the big one. People forget that when you're doing something, does the machine zero back to where it should, or does it deviate and all of a sudden I now have to have an offset? Wow, okay, now we got another guilty look.
No, I was just thinking back to Chris Shea's solder paste qualification.
And that's exactly the mentality, yeah.
And so anyone who's doing that, because there is not, I don't care what they say, there is not one machine that is going to be the perfect fit and everything for each company.
For everyone,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, there's strengths and weaknesses to every platform, every company, and you're not building the same boards I'm building.
Not at all.
And we might not need the same thing. There's you talked about they share all this technology, and they do. So the way that you have to cut through all of that, right, is to be able to decide these are the things they do. Which of these things are the most important criteria that matter to me the most? Then you evaluate them on those first, and if you just keep your North Star, what really matters to your facility and what problems you're trying to solve, and not get too caught up in all the sales.
And that's what they want you to do. Again, you see it. Some of these booths, there's 25 people walking around the booth, right? Well, they also get paid. Somebody's going to pay them some way, shape, or form, okay? But they're also going to give you this really great, amazing, we can do this and then we can do that. Again, the perfect example is Pick and Place. They'll all sell you a machine for, perfect example, $300,000 as a number, right? Okay, that's a machine. I didn't say anything about feeders. You might need $500,000 worth of feeders.
Sometimes
or
cards.
Or whatever,
offline programming
Nozzles.
stations. And
so your investment of $300,000 is now close to $1 million. And so what is that doing for you? And what is your return on investment? And how long are you going to be running that machine? Because that's another challenge that people forget. Is if you're not going to run it 24/7, it's costing you money. Because that machine needs to make you money to get paid for if you're going to do an ROI. But if you're not, then okay, run it for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But there's still a return on investment at some point.
Yeah.
Now, if you're having it for 5 years, I got to pay for maintenance and parts. And by the way, maybe my machine has now been discontinued. And guess what? My service contract just went from $100,000 to $250,000. And that $250,000, I guess what? I can go buy another machine. But that's what they want you to do. It's like they want you to do like the cell phone manufacturers do. The cell phones, by very nature, are designed to last 2 years. They don't clean them. They don't do anything. They want you to have your phone die in 2 years. Because they know you're going to go spend another $1,500 for that latest greatest gadget.
Yeah, but I've seen some of them offer to pay off your contract from your other provider. Now, that'd be pretty sweet if you could get that with capital equipment, right?
Okay, that would be an interesting business model. I'm not sure that company would last more than about 7 minutes, but it's an interesting business model.
The sales guy would do good on the sale part.
Yeah.
But remember, sales guys are what they are. They're sales guys. They are not sales engineers. They're sales guys. They are the ones that are supposed to. And then, of course, when you ask them technical questions, i.e., what kind of voltage do I need to have for a machine? Kind of an important thing to know.
Yeah.
Is it 110, 220, 480? What is it, right? And the vendor or the sales guy's like, well, let me go find out. You should be able to tell me that without even thinking about it. Like, oh, it's this. Well, okay, if I have a brand new reflow oven or a wash and I'm running 480, by the way, installing 480, not cheap.
$9 grand
getting
for my transformer.
Yeah.
Yep. It was I just did it.
And so transformers are not cheap.
No.
And by the way, hope that
Getting them wired up isn't cheap.
Well, but hopefully you can get a transformer in a timely manner, because transformers are the ultimate luxury at this moment in time. I mean, we're talking right now, if you want a transformer made in America, you're looking at 7 months.
I got one for sale if they want. Just kidding.
But if you want to buy one from Mexico, if you can get an exemption, if you're doing whatever that, you can probably have one in a week.
Wow.
But again, it's also then you got to pay the tariff because it is now a product of Mexico.
One thing he did recently on his new capital equipment purchases is he went to, I mean, what was it, like, felt like 5 different states and a ton
he was the road warrior.
and he actually went there, spent not just like an hour or two, like you spent days at these, and really it started last year around Christmas, right?
And that's what you want to do is the best way to truly judge a machine, you want to give it a scorecard. Test it. Kick the tires. As you know, Daniel will tell you, I told him, I said, make sure you're doing a lot of this weird stuff, right? But do the same thing for everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you do the same thing for all of your entities, you're going to get scores for something. Either it's a great score or it's a, damn, that score sucks.
Yeah, and that's what I really enjoyed doing is it doesn't matter who it is, they're always going to ask for as much as you're willing to give them on the front end before you ever show up, right? And there's nothing more fun than telling them, I'm not going to give you anything. Like,
we're doing it on the fly.
I don't get things ahead of time until the first time I see them is when I have to deal with it. I want to see what that looks like on your system.
Yeah, you love
right?
doing that to me, too. Like, hey, I've got this challenge on the SMT line. Can we do a stencil review? I get nothing until the phone rings, and then it's like data sheet, Gerber file. You like putting people on the spot.
Well, I think everybody does. And the problem is that it sounds easy to be very organized to send everybody the data, right? Again, they may not have it until 12 seconds before they send it to you. So, we all like to be prepared and have the perfect demo. I will tell you a war story that I can never, ever make up. 3 years ago, the company, we went to look at a rework system. And 5 of us flew out there. We didn't give them any information. We didn't do anything. We got out there. Okay, we're going to be able to program this part. We're going to pick this part. Cool. Well, so they started having problems. This is the manufacturer. They make the machine literally 12 feet from where we were in the room testing things. So they started to home the machine. And I would bring up the homing zero thing for a reason. They also had a very, very expensive titanium nozzle sitting right there that got crunched. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I all of a sudden see a nozzle get crunched, I'm going to think maybe something just changed in that machine, that it just crunched a very expensive titanium nozzle. And then we asked, I said, okay, we understand maybe an accident happened or whatever. And they blew it off. And then we started trying to have them remove a part. This is what their entire business model is, trying to do rework. That is their model. We could not get a part off that board to save our soul. We tried for hours. Again, they make the machine literally from their outside that door.
Was it like a difficult board, or was it just?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, it was a board that, in fact, should have been probably a 20-minute, set it up, do what you got to do, get this part off. All we wanted to do was get a D-pack off. Literally a D-pack. It didn't happen. Well, guess what? They didn't score well on the scoring, right?
Right.
And then they call and they're like, well, can we have another shot? I'm like, we gave you a shot. We asked you, can you go talk to your own team to figure out maybe what's going on, right? And sometimes the vendor just doesn't want to hear that something happened. Again, all machines will fail. They're going to have bad demos.
Another reason why I like to bring my own product to use instead of using their demo stuff, right? I mean, the demo boards that they use on any of the machines are just, it's not like they're choosing the SMTA challenge board to use for their demo, right? I mean, you know what I mean?
There's no copper planes. There's no nothing to them. Yeah,
it's the most simple. It's going to razzle and dazzle you because it's going to be an easier scenario.
They'll have some cool thetas. They'll have some cool thetas, right?
Yeah.
So in this equipment selection journey that we've been talking about, Bill, which piece of equipment on the line did you invest the most time resources to? Which one received the highest level of discernment?
Actually, the stencil printer. Because stencil printer and then the reflow, because those are where you're going to have your biggest challenges. Because, again, pick and place is XYZ. Okay, where are you putting part? I want to figure out how accurate is the machine. Can I really print what I'm supposed to print? I mean, certain people know that things may cause problems, i.e. silk screen, traces, and all that when you have and so let's take the same board to the same stencil and put them in the same machine, and what do we get, right? And then do the same thing for an oven. It's like, okay, let's measure the temperature. Is there a variance between the inside and the outside? I'm going to bet money there is, because you have a gap in there. So those were the biggest challenges, because everybody and their brother will say that they can do something. Okay. But did they do them correctly?
I've had this crazy idea.
Sean, I can't believe that. How dare you say that? You have never, ever had a crazy idea in your life. Ever.
We populate one side of the board.
Yeah.
Put it back in the pick and place. Populate the other side of the board. Send it through the reflow. What happens?
Well, if you don't have any parts fall off, that's a good sign.
Is there a possibility that doesn't happen?
All day. But you could be running a cold profile, too. And it's also depending on your material and your thought of, again, and there's a lot of variance. So you have to be very, very particular in how you do all that testing, because and again, I've seen, certain videos that you guys have done for profiling and stuff, and it's great stuff. It's great information. But there's also the challenges, again, what oven are you using? Is it known that there's going to be areas of cold spots? Because they all have cold spots.
Well, Miles, even today from Kick, was like, without embedded sensors, you really don't know if you're getting what you're getting out of.
And you won't. And you will never know that.
So it's like, I don't even... Because if your profiler, right, is thinking it's 250, but it's actually not 250, even though your oven says 250 and you're actually getting whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then your data is, I don't want to say bad, but it's not accurate.
Yeah. And the other challenge, though, is that kind of like stencil vendors, too. You also have to put everybody through the test, and people will pass and some people won't. And then, again, you get back down to maybe there are people that are just worried about cost. Okay, maybe they go with, it did this and I can do this. And I can maybe buy, a $5 cheaper stencil from somebody else from you and compared to you, right? Well, that $5 had the cost.
Yeah.
So if it's only a $5 difference, is it really $5 difference, or is it $500 difference? Because all of a sudden I have to have people reworking. Rework is never, ever put into the equation for buying capital equipment, because nobody wants to acknowledge it. So if I have a mistake and I have to do rework and I get the mistake on both machines or whatever I'm testing, okay, that's still going to have to get reworked. And again, rework, we've all probably seen some really amazing rework people, but it's still expensive.
Very expensive.
And
every quote of mine has a limit. It's only a 5% budget of the total hours of the job. So when we exceed that, it's not a good thing.
No, you're now losing money.
Yeah.
Before the timer on this episode hits 000. Bill, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of plug the STAR event.
Okay.
We all went to it last year, and I know you're obviously
Even
instrumental.
Sean went to this.
Yeah. So, STAR Strategic
Technology Advancement and Research is May 6th and 7th in Kansas City, and it is designed to be an event where in the morning we have professional development courses, and in the afternoon we have wonderful speakers coming in and talking about anything and everything related to electronic manufacturing as a whole, not a specific topic. So I will just say, I know we have 4 presentations for professional development, and we're going to have 6 speakers on one day and 6 on another day. So we are literally going to make sure that people walk away going, you know what, I got something from this.
There is something for everyone there, and even if it's not your typical area of the industry, it connects so many dots when you start learning about processes upstream and downstream. And if I had to pick one event that I wouldn't have missed last year, truthfully and honestly, that was it. It was just fantastic.
Beautiful too. It's not like there's 1,000 suppliers around you, right?
You're right, and again we had barbecue ribs in the breakfast. Like, more can you ask for, right?
Breakfast.
And then what was crazy, and I'm not the most knowledgeable on everything that goes on everything in this industry. However, there was a point in time where I looked at Daniel and I said, "Have you ever heard of this before?" And he said, "No." And I said to him, they could be just saying like this is an April Fool's Day joke, and we'd have no clue what's going on right now. Like,
I wouldn't do that, Dijon.
There was stuff in there that we were both like, "Wow, this is."
And there's going to be more stuff this way. There's some really amazing speakers coming that are going to be, again, not doing the status quo normal presentation. And that's what I told everybody. I said, I don't want status quo. I want you to make sure my audience learns something.
Where can listeners go to register for the STAR event?
They can go to SMTA, and then under chapters, that would be under the Heartland for events. And they can go, and that is where they can sign up. It is a paid event. That is the only event that the chapter makes money off of. Everything else we do is free. So that's what all the funding raised from the STAR event is basically used to pay for other events, for other technical sessions and information and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is definitely money well spent too. So thank you so much for joining us, Bill. It's always great to chat with you, and thanks for listening.
Thank you.